If you have a dime, a cent, or a quarter in your pocket, don't spend it yet. Because one small detail could turn it into thousands of dollars, and today I'm going to show you exactly what to look for before it's too late. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because what looks like a simple 1982p quarter dollar could actually be far more interesting than most people ever realize. And hidden within this ordinary-looking piece of change could be details, varieties, and conditions that collectors actively search for and sometimes pay surprising amounts to obtain. At first glance, it may seem like just another Washington quarter that has passed through countless hands, used in everyday transactions without a second thought. But when you start to understand what makes certain coins special, the 1982p quarter begins to tell a much deeper and more intriguing story. The 1982p quarter dollar was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P Mint mark, which was one of the early years when the Mint mark was officially used on quarters from Philadelphia. This coin is part of the long-running Washington Quarter series, which features the portrait of George Washington on the obverse. Washington, the first president of the United States and a key figure in the nation's founding, has been honored on the quarter since 1932. The reverse of the coin at that time still displayed the traditional eagle design, symbolizing strength and national pride. By 1982, the quarter had already gone through decades of production, but each year and mint can still carry subtle differences that matter to collectors. One of the most important things to understand about the 1982p quarter is its composition and the economic context in which it was produced. During this period, US coins were made from a copper-nickel clad composition rather than silver, which had been phased out in the 1960s. This means that most 1982 quarters are made of a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, giving them durability and a distinctive appearance. Millions of these coins were minted, which makes them very common in circulation today. Because of this high mintage, most examples are only worth their face value of 25 cents. However, as with many coins, the true interest lies not in the common examples, but in the exceptions. Coins that have been preserved in exceptional condition, known as mint state, can attract the attention of collectors. A 1982p quarter that has never been circulated, with strong luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear, can be significantly more desirable than a worn example. The grading of such coins plays a major role in determining their market value, as professional grading services evaluate the coin's condition and assign a standardized grade that collectors trust when buying or selling. Another factor that can increase interest in the 1982p quarter is the presence of mint errors or unusual characteristics. Errors occur during the minting process and can include issues such as off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, or improper planchet preparation. While most coins are struck under controlled conditions, occasional mistakes result in unique variations that stand out. These error coins are often highly sought after because they are different from standard production coins and offer something unique to collectors who specialize in minting anomalies. Collectors also pay attention to strike quality and surface preservation. Even among uncirculated coins, some may have stronger details or more appealing visual features than others. These subtle differences can influence how desirable a coin is within the collector market. Coins that have been well preserved in original mint sets or stored carefully over time may retain better surfaces and overall eye appeal, making them more attractive to buyers. When discussing value, it is important to consider the role of auctions and the broader coin market. While most 1982p quarters will not reach auction-level attention, exceptional examples, particularly those with high grades or rare errors, may appear in competitive bidding environments. In auctions, collectors from around the world have the opportunity to compete for notable coins, and prices can reflect the true demand at a given time. These auction results help establish benchmarks for what certain types of coins are worth, especially when comparing condition and rarity. If you happen to have a 1982p quarter in your possession, it is worth taking a closer look before assuming it is just pocket change. Examine the coin under good lighting, check for sharpness in the design, and look for any unusual features that might indicate an error or an above-average condition. Sometimes coins that have been stored away in jars, old collections, or forgotten drawers remain in surprisingly good shape, and those can be the ones that attract collector interest. The fascination with coins like the 1982p quarter comes from the possibility that something ordinary could have hidden value. Many people overlook these coins because they are still commonly found in circulation, but collectors understand that not all coins are equal. Small differences in condition, strike, or rarity can make a significant impact on desirability. That is why coin collecting continues to be a popular hobby, combining history, attention to detail, and the excitement of discovery. And now, coming to the important part that every viewer is waiting for. While most 1982p quarters remain at their face value, exceptional examples, such as those in top mint state condition or those with rare and verified mint errors, can sometimes achieve much higher prices in the collector market. In rare and documented cases, outstanding specimens have been associated with values reaching into the thousands of dollars, depending on their grade, uniqueness, and demand among collectors, especially when such coins appear in competitive auction settings where serious buyers are willing to pay premium prices. So if you have this coin, you truly might be holding something more interesting than you expected. It may not always be a life-changing treasure, but it represents the possibility that even the most common-looking objects can hold hidden value. The key is knowing what to look for, understanding the factors that matter, and taking the time to examine the details that most people ignore. In the end, the 1982p quarter dollar is more than just a piece of currency. It is a reminder that value often lies beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered by those who are curious enough to look closely, and that's the real takeaway from a 1982p quarter dollar. What appears to be just another common coin in your pocket could actually carry hidden interest, hidden history, and in rare situations, hidden value. Most people will overlook it without a second thought, but collectors know that every coin deserves a closer look, because sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference. So before you spend your next quarter, take a moment to examine it carefully. Check its condition, look for unusual features, and remember that in the world of coin collecting, opportunities don't always announce themselves. They're discovered by those who pay attention. While not every coin will turn out to be rare, the possibility alone is what makes the search exciting. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep checking your coins, because you never know when an ordinary piece of change could turn into something far more interesting than its face value suggests. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because what looks like an ordinary 2004 D5-cent piece could actually hold surprising value that most people completely overlook, and the real story behind it is far more interesting than simply being another nickel in circulation. Imagine holding a coin that has passed through countless hands, spent in vending machines, forgotten in drawers, and yet among these everyday coins, a few rare examples stand out due to their condition, mint characteristics, and collector demand, turning something as small as 5 cents into something potentially much more valuable. The 2004 D5-cent coin, commonly known as a Jefferson nickel, was minted at the Denver Mint and carries the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. Jefferson, one of the founding fathers and the third president of the United States, has been featured on the nickel since 1938, and his portrait was redesigned in 2004 as part of the Westward Journey nickel series. This redesign was introduced to honor the Lewis and Clark expedition, marking an important moment in American history. On the reverse side of the 2004 D nickel, you may find one of several designs associated with this commemorative series, including depictions related to exploration, peace medals, or the American bison, depending on the specific variety within the 2004 release. These designs were part of a special initiative to celebrate the bicentennial of the expedition, making the 2004 nickels slightly more historically significant than regular issues. At first glance, the 2004 D nickel appears extremely common, and in terms of mintage, millions were produced, meaning most examples are only worth their face value. However, the world of coin collecting is not just about how many coins were made, but about the condition, uniqueness, and rare characteristics that certain coins may possess. This is where the possibility of value begins to emerge. A coin that has been preserved in near-perfect condition, often referred to as mint state, can be significantly more desirable than a heavily circulated example. Coins that have sharp details, strong luster, and no visible wear can attract collectors who are willing to pay a premium for quality. Another factor that can dramatically influence the value of a 2004 D5-cent coin is the presence of mint errors. Errors occur during the minting process and can include issues such as double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or unusual planchette problems. While many coins are produced under strict quality control, occasional mistakes slip through, and these unique variations often become highly collectible. A 2004 D nickel with a noticeable and rare mint error can stand out from the millions of standard coins, making it far more appealing to collectors who specialize in error coins. Collectors also pay close attention to subtle varieties and strike characteristics. Differences in strike sharpness, metal flow, or even slight variations in design details can influence how a coin is perceived in terms of quality. Professional grading services evaluate these coins and assign them a grade based on their condition, which plays a crucial role in determining market value. A higher grade coin, especially one that is certified and encapsulated, often gains credibility in the collector market, making it easier to trade or sell at a premium. The role of auctions is also important when discussing coins like the 2004D nickel. Auctions bring together serious buyers who understand the value of rare or high-quality coins, and competitive bidding can drive prices higher than expected. While most 2004D nickels will never appear in high-profile auctions due to their common nature, exceptional examples with top grades or rare errors may be featured and can attract attention from collectors seeking to complete sets or invest in quality pieces. Auction results often reflect the true market demand and help establish realistic value ranges for coins that might otherwise seem ordinary. If you happen to come across a 2004D 5-cent coin, it is worth taking a closer look rather than dismissing it as just another nickel. Examine the surface carefully, check for any unusual marks, doubling in the design, or anything that seems out of place. Also consider the overall condition of the coin, as uncirculated examples with original mint luster are much more desirable than worn ones. Sometimes, coins that have been stored in rolls, collections, or mint sets remain in excellent condition and can be significantly more appealing to collectors. The excitement around coins like the 2004D nickel comes from the idea that hidden value can exist in everyday objects. Many people are unaware that certain coins, even those minted in recent decades, can become collectible due to condition or errors. This creates opportunities for those who pay attention and understand what to look for. Coin collecting is not just about rarity in terms of production numbers, but also about uniqueness, preservation, and demand within the collector community. As we reach the end of this deep look into the 2004D 5-cent coin, it becomes clear that while most examples remain common and used as regular currency, a small number of exceptional pieces can carry surprising value. If you have a 2004D nickel that is in outstanding condition, professionally graded at a high level, or features a rare and verifiable mint error, it could be worth far more than its face value. In certain rare cases, such coins have been known to reach values that can climb into the thousands, depending on the specific characteristics, collector demand, and results seen in competitive auction environments. So if you have this coin, you might be holding something more interesting than you think. It may not always be a jackpot, but the possibility is what makes coin collecting exciting. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story includes hidden value waiting to be discovered, and that's where the real lesson lies. Because coins like the 2004D 5-cent piece remind us that value is not always obvious at first glance. What looks ordinary in your hand could become something extraordinary in the right condition, under the right circumstances, and with the right knowledge. Whether it's a rare mint error, a high-grade specimen, or simply a coin preserved better than the rest, the difference between face value and collectible value can sometimes be surprisingly large. So the next time you come across a handful of change, don't rush to spend it without a second look. Take a moment, observe the details, and understand that every coin has the potential to tell a story, and in rare cases, that story could include a valuable discovery. Because in the world of coin collecting, patience, attention, and awareness are often the keys that separate something common from something truly remarkable. If you enjoyed this deep dive, stay curious, keep checking your coins, and remember, treasures are often hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to notice them. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because what looks like an ordinary 1974D dime sitting quietly in your pocket could actually be one of the most surprising hidden treasures still circulating today, and the story behind it is far more fascinating than most people ever realize. Imagine holding a small, simple-looking coin that millions of people have used without a second thought, yet somewhere among those billions of dimes, a rare variation or exceptional condition piece could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. And today, we are diving deep into the mystery, the history, and the hidden value of the 1974D dime, a coin that might appear insignificant at first glance but has captured the attention of collectors, auction houses, and treasure hunters around the world. The 1974D dime was minted at the Denver Mint during a time when the United States was going through significant economic and cultural changes. The early 1970s were marked by inflation concerns, shifts in coin composition, and adjustments in production techniques. The dime itself, part of the Roosevelt series, carries the image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who is honored not only for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II but also for his connection to the March of Dimes campaign, which helped fund the fight against polio. The design of the dime, created by John Ossinek, features Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse and a torch flanked by an olive branch and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. While this design has remained consistent for decades, subtle differences in minting years and mint marks can create variations that collectors eagerly seek. Now, when we talk about the 1974D dime, The D mint mark indicates that it was produced in Denver. Millions upon millions of these coins were struck, making them common in circulation. However, rarity in coin collecting is not always about how many were made, but rather about specific conditions, eras, and preservation states. This is where things begin to get interesting, because while most 1974 D dimes are worth only their face value, certain specimens have been discovered with extraordinary characteristics that elevate their value dramatically. Coins that have been preserved in near-perfect condition, graded highly by professional grading services, or those with mint errors can become highly desirable among collectors. One of the key factors that determines the value of a coin like the 1974 D dime is its condition. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from heavily worn examples to flawless, uncirculated pieces known as mint state. A dime that has been preserved without scratches, wear, or environmental damage, and that retains its original luster, can command significantly higher prices. When such a coin is professionally graded at the highest levels, it becomes far more attractive to serious collectors who are willing to pay premium prices to complete their collections or invest in rare numismatic assets. Another major factor is the presence of mint errors. During the minting process, mistakes can occur, and these errors can make a coin unique. Examples include double die strikes, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins struck with incorrect alignment. While not every error dramatically increases value, certain rare and visually noticeable errors can make a 1974 D dime stand out in a big way. Collectors often search specifically for these anomalies, knowing that a small imperfection in production can translate into a major increase in worth. As we continue exploring the appeal of the 1974 D dime, it is important to understand the role of auctions in determining its market value. Auction houses bring together buyers from around the world who compete for rare and desirable coins, often driving prices higher than expected. When a particularly high-grade or error version of the 1974 D dime appears in an auction, bidding can become intense, especially among collectors who understand its rarity and condition. Auction results serve as real-world benchmarks for value, reflecting what collectors are actually willing to pay at a given moment in time. This is why the mention of auction appearances is so important when discussing high-value coins like this one, because they provide concrete evidence of demand and pricing trends. If you have this coin in your collection, you should carefully examine it under good lighting, because even subtle details can make a difference. Look at the sharpness of the design, the clarity of Roosevelt's portrait, and the overall shine of the surface. Pay attention to any unusual marks or characteristics that might indicate an error or an exceptionally well-preserved specimen. Many people overlook coins like this because they assume all common dimes are the same, but experienced collectors know that hidden value often lies in the details that most people ignore. The excitement around coins like the 1974 D dime also comes from the possibility that rare examples may still be found in circulation or in old collections. Unlike modern digital assets, physical coins can be forgotten in jars, drawers, or inherited collections, waiting to be rediscovered. This creates a sense of opportunity and curiosity, because anyone could potentially come across a valuable piece without realizing it. Stories of individuals discovering rare coins in pocket change or family collections continue to fuel interest and enthusiasm in the numismatic community. As we approach the most important part of this discussion, it becomes clear why collectors are so intrigued by this particular dime. While most examples are only worth their face value, exceptional specimens, especially those with top-tier grading or rare characteristics, have been known to achieve impressive results in the marketplace. In some cases, documented high-grade or unique versions of the 1974 D dime have reached values that can astonish those unfamiliar with coin collecting. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a 1974 D dime that is in outstanding condition, professionally graded at a very high level, or features a rare mint error, its value can climb dramatically, and in certain rare instances, examples have been associated with values reaching up to around $80,000 depending on condition, rarity, and auction demand. This is why collectors emphasize careful inspection and professional evaluation, because what appears to be a simple 10-cent coin could, under the right circumstances, represent a life-changing discovery. So if you have this coin, you truly could be among the luckiest people in the world, not because every 1974 D dime is valuable, but because the potential hidden within a single coin can sometimes exceed expectations in remarkable ways. The key is knowledge, awareness, and attention to detail, because in the world of coin collecting, small differences can lead to extraordinary outcomes. And as you continue your search through your coins, old jars, and collections, remember that treasures are not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes, they are right in front of you, waiting patiently to be discovered, just like the humble yet potentially valuable 1974 D Dine.